Content Marathon. This is stream number 2. The first stream was an absolute blast. We had friends from the Masonic Medical Research Institute joining us. I loved it. And now we're here once again, hanging out, chatting with people, but no longer with any guests. For the next little bit, it's just going to be me hanging out, chatting with you guys. Eventually, I'm going to be going to take a break, followed by streaming on youtube.com/@Cameron Adamson with my good friend Smokey the Clown at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern. So about 2.5 hours from now. And that's going to be very fun as well. But for the time being, let's wait to see who joins. Let's go and create and by the way, same rules apply. 50% of all revenues received from this stream will go to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Good morning, Dylan. How's it going? Thank you for being here. Go with that one. Dylan, how is it going? How's life treating you? Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well as always. I don't know if you saw any of the streams I did with my friends from the Masonic Medical Research Institute. If you did, let me know what you thought of it. If you didn't, let me know how you're doing and how is life treating you. And thank you for being here. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. We are on our way to 5,000 subs. So let's see if we can get there within the next little bit. Who knows? Maybe it's possible. Thank you, Gooey, and thank you, Stephanie, and thank you for all of your support as well. Ori 2008, hello, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Is your birthday 2008? In which case, my heavens, makes me feel old. Thank you so much for that. No worries, Dylan. You can check them out later. They're on the channel right now. And I know you're busy, so I just appreciate you being here even for a moment. Don't forget, Dylan, everybody watching this, if you do a super chat, even $2, A, it helps out the stream greatly, but B, 50% goes to MMRI. My gosh, all right, way to make me feel old. I have not, Graham. I still don't know what that is precisely, but it seems like it'd be a lot of work. And I don't like doing work. I don't want to take any exams. Interesting. One person said yes. I don't know who has visited the Masonic Medical Research Institute, but whomever it is, welcome. Well, Ori, if you want to make it up to me, you can hit the like button and the subscribe button. Shaza says, say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There you go. I said supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Liberal triggerer, yes. Keep in mind, I'm Canadian, not American, so I could not vote for Kamala Harris or for Trump, for that matter. Much obliged. I still have no idea what that is. I feel like it's some dirty word that I don't know what it means. I'm going to get in trouble saying it. Much appreciated. All right. So how's your day going? As you know, we're in the midst of a 24-hour content marathon. This is stream 2 because I had to take a little bit of a break or switch my streams. I wasn't a big fan of I'm not a big fan of the layout of the 2-person stream or the co-stream when it's just one person. I find that's kind of annoying. So I prefer this layout right now. Rocket White, why are you having a hard day? And I'm sorry you're having a hard day. I don't know if being here can make it any better, but maybe. Well, we're going off and on with breaks, but Stephanie, tomorrow at 2 p.m. technically will be the end of it. I do not know what that means, smile, but please hit like and subscribe. My day was lovely. You're in Ireland? I really want to visit Ireland. I would be grateful to get there. I've been to England, been to the United Kingdom, but never, sadly, been to Ireland. But I hear it's absolutely beautiful. People are friendly, people are kind. I'd love to get there. Plus, I really like the Irish accent. I think it sounds really cool. Cosby, I mean, I, as a general rule, don't completely disagree with you in the sense that, yeah, having food, like if you have food, if you're lucky enough to have food and access to food, that can help make the day better. But that's not always enough, and sometimes it can still be a crummy day. So, um, I don't know, Ori. I mean, my experience is what's the word? I've talked about this in past. Familiarity breeds indifference, right? Or I 2008, meaning like I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I enjoyed Winnipeg fine. I didn't have anything against it, but it's not something I necessarily loved either, right? Or appreciated. It wasn't really until I left and then came back and started visiting it from a more outsider's perspective or as someone who didn't live there anymore that I actually, really started to enjoy it and appreciate it and love it. Um, but I think when you live in a place, it's harder necessarily to see the beauty in it. All religions are true. Nassim, whether all religions are true or not, or good for society or not, that's not really a question a Freemason can answer. I think Freemasonry is good for society, but Freemasonry is not a religion. Um, Nice try, Astro. Please hit like and subscribe. Try. I mean, I do eat way more fast food than I probably should. Um, but I don't know if it's shaped my life very much. How has it shaped your life? And what you should do is join Freemasonry. You'll get to spend more time. You'll get to spend more time. Enjoying, focused on your health and well-being by not eating too much fast food. Stephanie, I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. I think for some people, unfortunately, they can find religion to have like a business element to it.
At Stephanie Lockhart 8028 member, 1 month, 13 Canadian dollars and 99 cents. Religion is a business.
Terrible. Do not have mustard with Oreos. Do not have mayonnaise with Oreos. You can have milk with Oreos, and that is it. That is all you're allowed to have. I'm putting my foot down. I don't even have feet. I'm putting my wheels down. No Oreos with mustard. No Oreos with mayonnaise. Um, Remy, welcome. If you, by the way, are new to this stream, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm hoping with this content marathon, I can push my way up to and over 5,000. Freemasonry is all about a supreme being, boring parties, and a bit more supreme being. King Arthur, you may find Freemasonry boring, which is perfectly fine. Others do not. I do appreciate my land and my culture. You're a pagan. Okay, very cool, Ori. What would you like? How would you define pagan? Because, like, I knew a Wiccan once, a couple actually, Wiccans, Wiccan, and at some point I mentioned to them, like, would they consider themselves pagan? And they said Wiccan and pagan wouldn't be the same thing. Like, what do you as a pagan necessarily believe? I'm really curious. Um, Stephanie, no, not ketchup, not is lard better like bacon fat? No, bacon fat is much better. Well, in a literal sense, pagan means anything. I suppose. Is that how you would define it, Ori? Or how would you define the term pagan? I know I have a big head. I've grown to accept it. Banshee, I've never met any Satanists. Actually, I met one. He seemed nice enough. I don't know. Like, when you say good people, what do you mean by that? If you treat me with respect and you treat me well and you don't break any laws, then you're a good person as far as I'm concerned. It's about how you act and the way you act within the world. That's what matters. Captain Legless. I can't tell if you're making fun of me because I have no legs. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. When you say I believe in psychology, I also believe in psychology, but could you be a bit more specific? What do you mean by that specifically? Um, Banshee Nomad. I am not an Eagle Scout. I grew up in Canada. I don't know if we have the Scouts in Canada. I know we have the Scouts in obviously in England. Sorry, in England and in America. I don't know if we have them in Canada. I think we do actually. I also take part in old Irish folk traditions. What are some of your favorite folk traditions, Ori? Can you speak of them? And out of curiosity, do you have any thoughts on Freemasonry? Um, I use the umbrella term pagan to describe myself to people unfamiliar with anything other than organized religion. Personally, I worship the earth, the sun, and the moon. So would you consider yourself to be a Wiccan, right? Wiccan. And Ori, what are some of your favorite old Irish folk traditions that you take part in? Um, do I think God exists? So I'm a Freemason. To be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being. My supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. Other people will believe in a more literal, like Abrahamic God. Other people, everybody kind of has their own beliefs, right? Which is perfectly fine and part of being a Freemason. No worries, Rosalie. Come and go as you please. Captain Legolas. It happens. I knew I wasn't muted because other people were reacting to me. Um, so you never associate yourself with Wiccans. Okay. I mean, that goes to show my lack of knowledge, right? Because I'm not really that familiar with what is a Wiccan faith versus the pagan faith. Well, ask any questions, Ori. Freemasonry is a civic institution that has existed for over 300 years. Um, as with any other group or club, the main purpose is to spend time with other people. Um, you were in the Marines? That's awesome, Banshee. You're a tough son of a gun. Chris Morrison, Freemasons are Jewish, Freemasons are Hindu, Freemasons are Sikh, Freemasons are Muslim, everything in between. Freemasonry is not Jewish, nor is it, or at least is not exclusively Jewish. We welcome men of all different faiths, backgrounds, and beliefs. I enjoy Samhain celebrations, which are Halloween as you may know it. Not only do I know it, but you'll notice I pronounced it correctly. For the record, I know to pronounce it Samhain because I'm always reviewing the Halloween series, particularly the Cult of Thorn series. Um, so yeah, that's very cool. It's a day we take to be with family and honor our dead relatives with offerings of food and alcohol. We talk to our dead. Chris, once again, Freemasonry is not Jewish. Unfortunately, because people are very often struggling with their day-to-day lives, um, and because they are struggling, they are looking for, somebody to blame for the problems they see in life and in the world, and Freemasonry can provide a scapegoat. Oh, very close. How did I get it wrong? I always say it's Samhain. What did I get incorrect about it? Um, Reynard Fox, I'm doing well. How are you doing, Reynard? Thank you so much for being here. Please take a moment, Reynard, to hit like and hit subscribe if you've not done so before. Same thing with Ori RF. Thank you for the treat. Keep in mind that was worth 2 jewels. One of those is going to um, the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Um, we do not operate any lasers, excuse me, Jewish or otherwise, and there's no such thing as a Jewish space laser. I'm doing well. How are you doing? But my dialect would say it as so-ain. Okay, so not saw-Wayne, but so-Wayne. Is that correct? Chris, I try not to, or perhaps more so-win. Okay. For the record, I try not to block. There are times when I will. But as a general rule, it's something I do my best to avoid as much as possible. Um, it just depends on kind of the different circumstances. Jeremy, you are putting your faith in the wrong thing. I'm not one who's opposed to putting faith in different things. You just got to be really careful what you do. I would say not that. Catholic thorax, what is a PFP? I don't know what that means. Um, so win indeed. What about Charlie Kirk? Not a fan of him myself. Is that what it means? Okay. People keep saying Freemason PFP. I had no idea what it meant. Profile pic. I should know that. Yes, because I'm a Freemason. This is Square and Compass Promotions. I started this channel to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, as well as share stories of Masonic interest, as well as to turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. What are my thoughts on Charlie Kirk? No, I mean, in what sense? Not a fan. Did not think he contributed anything positive to the world, but obviously, um, he was also a father and a husband, and no child deserves to lose their dad. No wife deserves to lose her husband. Certainly not, I mean, not in any way, I suppose, but especially not in such a violent way where they actually have to see the video of it. Hopefully, the kids didn't see the video of it. So, not a fan, but, I recognize his humanity or the humanity of his family, obviously. Um, oh, yo, Betty White. If you're going to make jokes, you at least hit like and subscribe. Douglas, well, that got weird. I mean, this isn't a space to discuss trans issues. I will say, I think the best trans policy within Freemasonry comes from the United Grand Lodge of England, and I would have zero issue sitting in lodge next to someone who transitions to male. I would still call them my brother. So there you go. Douglas, you're getting weird. You need to calm down a little bit. Jeremy, I mean, it's not about shedding tears. To the extent that I mean, I didn't shed literal tears, but to the extent that I would shed tears, metaphorically, it would be for his family, obviously. His wife and his kids, and his friends as well. Um, Chris, ugh, conspiracy theories, let's just calm down. Missouri Prime, hello. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. Same thing. Anybody who's watching this, as always, please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, let me know. I hope you guys are having a good time. We are well on our way towards our 24-hour content marathon. It's been going great. It's been very successful. Let's hope we can keep it going. Celebrating, amongst other things, the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Steve, I mean, you say get braces. I'm so handsome that if I did have perfect teeth, I would literally leave no women for the rest of you because I'd be just so handsome. Um, you know who is funneling garbage? I mean, Nassim, it doesn't matter who's funneling anything. You're an adult, I'm assuming, if you're not, have your parents' permission to be on stream. So what I mean by that is you're not responsible for, like, you are responsible for what you consume or what you don't consume. Um, right? So you make the decision to not consume slop. Ave, what you should call it is the United States of America, which is an incredible country. I've said it before, Canada is the greatest country in the world because it's my home. But one of the reasons it's the greatest countries greatest country in the world is because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. And I genuinely believe that is, um, I genuinely believe that to be the case. So Ave, how does coming onto this stream, A, help with the point you're trying to make? And B, how does saying that help with anything? Why unfortunately? You can be gay, you can be straight, it doesn't matter. What matters is, are you a good person and do you care about the people around you? That's what the Masons would say, that's what I would say. I agree with that, Jeremy. Go USA and go Canada, two great countries. As are all the countries around the world, right? Or at least the people within the countries, is what matters. You're from Brazil, Dio. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. Please take a moment to hit the like button and the subscribe button and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. I love Brazilian Freemasonry. I've had the pleasure of meeting several Masons in Brazil, and it was awesome. I loved my time in Brazil. It was incredible. Beautiful country, like genuinely an absolutely gorgeous country with incredible people. I was in Rio de Janeiro, and I posted some of my pictures from my time there. I loved it. I'd love to get back there at some point. Ori, you got to get used to it. Believe me, there are people on streams who, if you're going to be on YouTube, you got to, you got to deal with people who are obsessed with all sorts of random things, including the trans issue. Even though this channel has nothing to do with trans. Am I a medical professional or what? No, I am a YouTuber and I'm a Freemason. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. But Freemasonry does help to employ medical professionals, specifically through the Masonic Medical Research Institute. All right, Douglas, we're going to put you in a timeout. We need to relax a little bit here. I'm actually just going to hide you. Yeah, do you spend time on YouTube, Ori? Are you like a YouTuber yourself, or are you trying to be one? Or do you just, I don't want to say just, because I appreciate you being here, but do you hang out on streams? Like, what is your relationship? I have a cat. Right now I'm single. My focus is on this channel and trying to grow it. I don't have time for much of anything else. I'm pretty much always doing this or doing something Masonic. Jeremy, I don't know. I don't get it either. We have the poll question. Have you ever visited the Masonic Medical Research Institute? And no is at 83%. Yes is at 17%. More people than I thought saying yes. Let me know what your visit was like. Johnny Bravo. So the Freemasons are a fraternal or a civic institution and a civic group that has existed for over 300 years. Think about it like a club or a group. So anything Masonic is anything related to the group. Like this tattoo, if I could get it, is a Masonic tattoo, for example. No Ave and no Masons have ever visited the island. I did a deep dive into those files a few weeks, actually a few months ago now, just to say no. Because I searched for Freemasonry references in the files. You can find my previous stream talking about it. Johnny Bravo, please hit like and subscribe. I spend a lot of time on live streams on here, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be watching, believe me. It's another thing to actually have to be the person who's answering the questions or trying to answer the questions or trying to deal with it. It can be a very interesting experience, I promise you. What do you think of this stream so far? If you spent a lot of time, any advice, any suggestions? Do you think it's going well, not well? What are your thoughts thus far? I mean, it's not a community like the Amish because, I mean, to my knowledge, the Amish, Johnny Bravo, are like a specific religion or ethnicity. Freemasonry is neither. We have Masons of different ethnicities, different religions. Think about it like a club. Think about more like a college fraternity, just without hazing or things like that, and with an older membership. But I mean, the Elks, the Moose, the Rotary is another good way to think about these things as well. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm glad you do. I don't beg for donations. I do appreciate them, especially in this case, because 50% of all the donations or the revenue will go to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. But I do always appreciate any support. Mostly what I beg for, though, is people liking and subscribing because that helps grow the channel, which I always appreciate. Jeremy, I'm glad. You were on the previous stream, right? You saw me talking to the members of the Masonic Medical Research Institute. I hope. Let me know what you thought. And we're going to just keep hanging out and wait to see who joins. Ori, what are some of the streams that you enjoy? And how'd you come across this one? Like I'm sure YouTube suggested it, but did you do you search things about Freemasonry? L, maybe. Yes, Yo Maple, people have come and gone. It's been great to see some new people joining. Being a moderator is not the easiest job in the world, obviously, but thank you for joining once again. And again, we're just back to the hanging out, chatting about whatever phase of this. We'll go back and forth. Thoughts also with Smokey the Clown on his current doctor's visit. Hope he's doing okay. Must have been saved by the YouTube algorithm. That's one of those things where like YouTube is keeping track of what you searched a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. So, I mean, what are some general questions you might have? Because the problem is, like, what do Freemasons do? It's such a broad question. I mean, there's so many different ways to answer it. So, what might some of your thoughts be? Um, the start date would be 1717, June 24th, or you could push it earlier to 1634. It evolved from stone Masonic guilds of the Middle Ages. So Freemasonry, in many ways, is the continuation of stone masonry in a social setting. And yeah, it is something I've been a member of for 20 years. Some common misconceptions include that you need to be family to join. You don't. That it's a religion, which it's not, and that we are trying to take over the world, which we are not. Our lodge has a couple events coming up. Particularly, what's coming up is just we're coming up to the start of Freemasonry again in my jurisdiction. Very often in summer, many lodges do what's called going dark, which means they take a break. But we do have a barbecue coming up on August 29th, and then we start meeting again shortly after that. No. Well, so Chicken Joe, what do you mean by that? You're going to have to be a bit more specific. What do you mean by playing into the LARP? I don't know do you mean becoming a member? Be a bit more specific, and then I'll answer your question. So that's a really good question, Ori. And honestly, I am really bad for this. As in, I very often don't answer this question or don't make this distinction well. The lodge actually refers to the group of people or the group. So I am a member of Windsor Lodge 403. That is a group of people, all of whom are members of the same Masonic body. Where we meet is called our Masonic building, our Masonic Temple, our Masonic Hall, our Masonic space, pick your term. But the lodge refers to the group of people. So a good way to think about it would be imagine you're a football player or a soccer player or a football player. Imagine you play on a sports team. The team is like the lodge. Where you play is like your Masonic building. So technically you can be a sports team and play in different locations. You can be a Masonic lodge and meet at different locations so long as you have permission in advance from your Grand Lodge. So the lodge is a group of people. Um, a lot of people do Ori BA because the term lodge, people, connect that with the physical place, but also because most Masons, including myself, refer to it in that way. So like if you ask us like where are we going, we'll say we're going to lodge, but that's not really accurate. We should say we're going to meet with our lodge at our Masonic building. Um, the term, though, actually does refer to a physical place. Lodge comes from a tent that stonemasons would set up in front of or next to their job sites where they would store their tools, where they would, where they would store their tools, take lunch, keep cool, sometimes rest. It was like a tent set up next to workspaces. It was called a LUD, LOD, and we evolved it into lodges. Um, you can be a Mason and a Scientologist at the same time to stockpile on snacks. You do you. Again, like I need to know a little bit more because I want to answer your first question about paying your rent. Because there is a decent way to answer that question, right? I've known three Masons who would have been homeless were it not for the lodge stepping in and paying their rent or their mortgage when they needed it. Not only would they have been homeless, but their wife and kids would have been homeless. Now, they were members, they weren't playing into the LARP, they were Masons themselves. And they had been Masons for many years before they requested the assistance. But yes, Masonry will help its members if they're struggling financially, which doesn't just help the membership, it helps the whole community, right? Every time a Mason keeps somebody out of being homeless, amongst other things, what it does is um, it ensures that they are not taking up resources from the community, using shelter spaces, things like that. So I am a Mason. What do they do? As I said, Masons do all sorts of different things. At their core, though, right, Masonry is the belief that it's worth spending time with other people. Sauce? Sons? Like, what do you do when you go with your friends on a Friday night? It's just a very formalized version of that. We also maintain traditions passed down from generations, as a family would. Um, Mystery probably should not do that. Well, I mean, were you honest? Some people like to collect broken game systems to repair them, but my suspicion is you lied to him, and that's not okay. Yeah, well, I think we need a sense of community if we're going to make it. Like, if we're going to survive in the coming, if humanity is going to survive, we need to find a way to support one another. I think it's incredibly important. And if we're not able to find a way to do that and have a strong sense of community, I don't see things going well for society as a whole. So, never dined on pheasant, but I have worn a tuxedo. Um, so Ori, like all of our rituals and ceremonies are traditions carried forward. The way we open the lodge and close the lodge, start and end our meetings, is the same today as it was 200 years ago. Um, our initiations, passings, and raisings are the same. I mean, things change; they just do over time, but they're generally the same as they were 200 years ago. And just the act of getting together and meeting within a Masonic lodge in a temple is something we've kept going for 200 years. Plus, on top of that, obviously, we have the record books and minutes and all of those things we keep as well. Kurt, knowing something and understanding something are two different things. Whether the secret handshake is on YouTube or not, if you don't get it honestly, you're not going to appreciate it. Yeah, Ori, they do. I mean, I've given this example before, but my grandfather was a Freemason. He passed away before I was born. Being a Mason myself has made me feel more connected to him because I never got to meet him. I mean, he lived in a different country. I mean, I was born in Canada. He lived in England, um, as did my dad, but he met a nice Canadian girl, and that's what happens. But yeah, it definitely makes me feel more connected to the people of the past. And in some ways, the people who will become after me, maybe even Masons who haven't been born yet, I still feel connected to them in a way. Welcome from England. I was just there a little while ago. I love England. My dad is from England. Um, awesome country, awesome people. So, whether there is or is not a secret handshake, I will never confirm or deny. You got to join. I mean, Ori, the way I always describe it is, if you read everything to read about riding a bicycle, you know all the things about riding a bicycle, you've looked at every video about riding a bicycle, you've memorized all the manufacturers and all the important dates about riding a bicycle, but you never actually literally ride it, you don't really understand riding a bicycle, right? You have the knowledge without the wisdom of it. And that's true for Freemasonry. Look, everything about Freemasonry that's supposed to be private is at this point on the internet. A lot of nonsense is on the internet as well, and you're not going to know which is which unless you join. But even if you do somehow stumble upon just correct information about the private elements of a Masonic ceremony, you're not going to understand it, what it means, or why it's important until you join and go through it. Freemasonry is experiential. Do you like YouTube videos? I have to like YouTube videos. Here I am trying to make my living being a YouTuber and being a content creator. Um, Curtis, again, see, since I'm not Mormon, I would not want to be looking at those videos. If I ever decide to join the Mormon faith, that's different. I'll learn it kind of the honest way. Um, so Joseph Smith was a Freemason. I don't know who the guy was who started the Jehovah's Witnesses, but he could have been. I don't know. Um, in my beliefs, a lot of things that similar vein. Okay. I mean, Ori, yeah, there's a similar idea to it there. A symbol is a symbol. Its meaning, you need to come by it honestly. You can't just read about it. Out of curiosity, Ori, I'm curious. I don't I hope this is not a uh, offensive question. I'm trying to ask it in the right way, but one of my favorite TV shows of all time is Charmed. I love it. I don't know if you ever watched it and if you think it's good. Because with Freemasonry, I love the Simpsons episode of the Stonecutters. I love the movie From Hell, Dislodged. Like those are great movies and TV shows, and I like it and I find it interesting when Freemasonry is represented on television, even though Freemasonry is not a religion in the way paganism is. Welcome back. How was Red Shirt Friday? How was um the Legion, Dad? And welcome back, Dad. Love you. Thank you for being here. One thing I mentioned before, we were talking about this on the previous stream, talking about the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Um, right now, heart disease, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. One person dies every 34 seconds from a cardiovascular related disease. And obviously, my grandfather, who passed away before I was born, had a heart attack. So, thinking about MMRI, thinking about everything it's doing, it does, make me feel very grateful for all the work that they're putting in and how hard they're working to help create, help make things a success or reduce and mitigate and find success in curing or treating heart disease. I mean, it doesn't shock me. Most depictions of Freemasonry in media is also very inaccurate, but I still enjoy it for entertainment. I really like Charmed, so maybe, well, I don't know. I mean, you're so young, it's insane. Charmed ran from 2000 and, sorry, from 1998 to like 2006 or 7, so I don't think you would have even been born. when it went off the air. But check it out if you want. I don't know. I like it. It's about three witches who are sisters. And I know paganism is not the same as Wiccans. So I'm not sure how like much you'll find similar, but they do use sigils, they do use symbols, they do use like symbolism, the power of three symbol particularly. I mean, that can make sense. If it just depends, what you're thinking of when you watch it. Oops. And what you kind of I always just try to take it as like when it comes to them portraying Freemasons, I always try to um view it as entertainment. So old. Yes, I am of a different century. I am literally of a different millennia. I am of a different 1,000 year period. So, how does that make me feel? A lot of students nowadays are writing papers and they're saying things like in the late 19th century, or sorry, in the late 1900s, meaning in my time. The way I would speak of the 1800s, they're speaking of things in the 1900s, which makes me want to curl up in a ball. Interestingly enough, Ori, one of the things that the Masonic Medical Research Institute is doing right now is it's doing research on autism, understanding more about its causes and some of the effects of it. The person I talked to, he mentioned on the stream, he's one of the directors. He works for the Masonic Medical Research Institute, and he is autistic, as is he said his sister. And they talked about like he talked about like how he appreciates the research they're doing into autism at the center. So it's always interesting to learn more about yourself, right? Um, no critter, no Illuminati. Good to sort out the world's problems. For Freemasons, Lucifer is not a symbol of knowledge and wisdom. For Albert Pike, a Freemason, Lucifer may have been a symbol of wisdom and knowledge, but that's Albert Pike. That's not every Mason. Um, Johannes, what I am is from the handsome community. Whether I'm gay or straight or from the LGBT community is irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how these things work, what's genetic, what's environmental. Like everything in life, my assumption is about 50-50. It's kind of like heart disease, or more particularly medical conditions from heart-related illnesses, right? A lot of it's genetic, a lot of it is environment. You kind of have to, the type of food you have access to, things like that. It's one of those things where it's always going to be like what percentage is which, right? If that makes any sense. Good, Ori. I'm glad. I mean, not good you have health conditions. That's never fun. But I'm glad you found comfort in your practicing your religion. Once again, Alois, you're thinking of Albert Pike, who was a Freemason, not the Freemason, and not the most important Freemason. So people need to calm down a little bit with this Albert Pike stuff. Dad, I hope you managed to sort out the problems of the world, and I hope everybody there is doing well. And for the time being, we're just going to wait to see who joins. Please, as always, take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. Yeah, I mean, Ori, avoid giving too many details because YouTube is not the best place for that, other than to say, I'm glad that you were able to turn to the moon and turn to the stars. And also, I hope maybe you've been able to find some professional help and assistance as well. Because post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, anxiety, those are all real things that can result from abuse. People can and do recover and get better and go on to lead. What it sounds like you've done is lead a very good life for yourself, and you should be very proud of that. Um, and keep on stepping one foot in front of the other, right? You should be proud of how far you've come. Jesus Christ is Lord, repent and read the gospel. Skywalker, many people will agree with you on that, including many Freemasons. Um, right? Freemasonry welcomes people of all different faiths, backgrounds, and beliefs. Douglas, not as much as others, probably not a legitimate Mason, probably clandestine, for the record. So, I mean, I can see that comment, Glasgow Willy Wonka. Um, I so the term lead research, like Freemasonry is a club, right? So we're not all scientists or all doctors or all researchers. So we're not leading research in that sense. However, the Masonic Medical Research Institute is leading the way on research in a number of neurocognitive disorders, including PTSD, autism, um, other related mental health concerns. Freemasonry also donates a great deal of money, millions of dollars, millions of pounds throughout the world to causes related to mental health support. And then on top of that, Masonry itself and civic engagement in general has been shown, amongst other things, to um, to improve people's mental health and well-being. So maybe it's not necessarily quote unquote researching it, but it is alleviating it. There's actually a whole topic or a whole paper um, written by the Surgeon General of the States, which talked about the both physical and psychological harms of isolation and how civic engagement can improve that. So no worries. I think I know what you're trying to say, but I wanted to make sure it's clear, right? Because again, because Freemasonry is not a religion, or sorry, not is not a research or scientific group, we can't really lead research precisely, but we do support it, both literally and like metaphorically or figuratively, both through our donations and our actions. Synchronized, I think, is unfortunate. I think it shows a great deal of misunderstanding by the Catholic Church about Freemasonry, and it's something that I hope will change over time. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it perhaps grows to reconsider some of these views. Because unfortunately, yeah, it just shows a misunderstanding of Freemasonry. I mean, I find that would be true of my own personal experience, and that would also be true of that'd be true of my own personal experience, but that would also be true for and of the research, which confirms the same. Hey Cameron, I'm at work, but I will. Hey, you join when you can, but you got to put work first, so no worries. I appreciate you being here, whether you can be here for 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 seconds. I'm grateful, especially if you drop off a like and a chat and a comment and a subscribe and all that good jazz. I have heard of the canary in the coal mine. I think Freemasonry is a canary in the coal mine in the sense that, as I've discussed before, right, as Freemasonry and civic institutions in general start to struggle, we're going to see a lot more difficulty with Freemasonry, or excuse me, with society. Society is stronger when we have civic institutions and civic engagement. And unfortunately, we are coming to a place more and more often where we're losing that civic engagement. And I think that's a canary in the coal mine for society as a whole. This is not Satanism in disguise. This is not Satanism in any sort. a whimsical at bibliophile, so a book lover. This is not Satanism. Freemasonry is not satanic. Sorry to disappoint. Um, well, Yo Maple, that's pretty much true. I mean, so Mormonism was started by a Freemason, right? It was started by Joseph Smith, who was a Freemason. But Mormonism occupies the religious space, Freemasonry occupies the civic space. They occupy different spaces. They have different purposes. I have no issue with the Mormons. Every Mormon I've met has been perfectly nice and fine. Um, and their beliefs are free to be whatever their beliefs are. Um, as Dad says, Freemasonry has the Cancer Care Driver Program, which takes people to and from treatments. Was American Freemasonry in contact with? Oh, sure. We've all been in contact with different Masonic obediences. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the term obedience. I don't know if you mean like Grand Orient or if you mean clandestine, if you just mean different jurisdictions. I mean, like AF and AM, F and AM. But yeah, Freemasonry, very often they will talk with others about their experiences, visitation, potential recognition, things like that. I mean, I don't want to be a reviler of anyone's religious beliefs. So whether you're Mormon or otherwise, you're welcome to join Freemasonry. So religion is not discussed, Ori. It's not ignored. I wouldn't use that term. It's not discussed. So in a Masonic lodge, there are two things you're not allowed to discuss: religion and politics. Now, having said that, certainly, many non-Masons will, sorry, many Masons will join, and after the lodge is done, they may discuss their religious beliefs, they may discuss their political beliefs, but there's no discussion of it during lodge. And within the lodge itself, what matters is you believe in a supreme being. That's what's most important. Well, the Grand Orient is out of France, right? Like when you say contact, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like I've talked to Masons of the Grand Orient. I can't visit their lodges when they're meeting. I guess I don't know what you mean by contact. Like if you mean recognition, to my knowledge, no American lodge has recognition with Grand Orient. But Masons will talk to one another, and that's perfectly fine. The issue isn't talking with them. The issue is attending their meetings or trading quote unquote secrets. Like I knew a Mason in Ontario who was a member of the Grand Orient. He joined in France. So Supreme Being is a um, right. Supreme Being is a Enlightenment era term. Basically, it's God, but as each individual understands it, right? The problem with using the term God is certainly in America or in Canada, when people say the word God, they're almost certainly thinking of it in a Judeo-Christian context or Christian context. If you're in Morocco, you're thinking about it in the Muslim context, right? You're thinking about it in whatever context the religion of the area is, even if you don't share that. So Supreme Being simply means we don't care if you're a Christian, we don't care if you're Muslim or Jewish. We don't care if you're like me. My supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science, right? All we care about is do you believe in some sort of supreme being? And that can be defined pretty broadly. Um, and there you go. So Alois is right. There are orders, they're called the liberal orders, where of Freemasonry, where you don't need to believe in a supreme being to join. It's primarily the Grand Orient, is what people think of when they mention that. But there are other liberal orders as well, like there's one in the Philippines, but they are rare, and they're usually not recognized. Like, at least, again, not officially recognized. I don't know what that is. I think you're trying to say Benai Benath. I mean, it's not Freemasonry. It's like Freemasonry is Freemasonry, right? Like Alois, one of those things you need to be careful of is saying like this is Freemasonry for this group or this is Freemasonry for that group. Like Freemasonry is Freemasonry, Benai Benath is Benai Benath. They're different orders with different purposes. If it ever comes to a point where they're recognized and regular, then they are part of the Masonic family. But until then, I don't, Freemasonry is its own thing. Um, they have Freemasonry in South Korea. In North Korea, no. Now, it's not to say there haven't been ever been Freemasons in North Korea. Maybe they're for government officials or people leaving, becoming a Mason and going back, but there's no official Freemasonry therein. So the term like supreme being is so broadly defined that a lot of people who might be considered atheists are usually able to join. Like for me, right? I am my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. Um, However, I was still able to join. A lot of it, though, depends on who you're meeting with. There are some lodges who have a more strict interpretation of supreme being. It really just depends. I believe there's Freemasonry in Algeria. I haven't really looked into it, but I believe so. Um, the people of North Korea deserve respect and kindness. North Korea itself, like the government, I mean, I don't know. I suppose I'd want every government to have peace and respect, just so long as we don't go to war with anybody, right? Um, yeah, Ori. Well, they would not be able to join quote unquote regular masonry. They would have to look at joining a chapter of Grand Orient, which is not as prominent, so it'd be harder to find. Like you could join it in France very easily, in the Philippines very easily. In America, it's a lot tougher to find Grand Orient lodges. I'm sure they're out there, or even in England, I think they're there as well, but they're not as common by any means. Does Mormonism? I mean, I there are Mormon Freemasons. Like famously, Mitt Romney was a Mormon and a Freemason, or a Jehovah's Witness and a Freemason. He was a Mormon and a Freemason, right? Kaba, I think that there is an eternal quality, an eternal value to all of us that will continue to exist long after we pass away. If you want to call it your energy, you can. I think it's a value. I don't think it's conscious or aware in the way I am right now, but I do still believe it is important and I do still believe it exists. That wasn't me farting, that was me moving on my wheelchair. Um, no idea what you're saying, discount, but that sounds gross. It's okay to be smoking cigarettes. I mean, it's not, you shouldn't do it, but I'm not going to judge anybody if you smoke cigarettes. Um, but try to make healthy decisions in your life is always a good piece of advice. 71 votes. Have you visited the Masonic Medical Research Institute? No, 82%. More yeses than I thought. Hello, suspiciously online. That was kind of an interesting title. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. We're going to be not ending this stream soon, but taking a break soon. I'm going to do my old trick of showing you guys the river because I'm going to run out for a couple minutes and grab a quick coffee and a snack. I'll probably be gone for 15, 20 minutes at the most. I think we have a couple mods floating around, like Yo Maple, who can, hide some people if they're being jerks. Somebody said, is there Freemasonry Iran, I think? Um, uh, there is no Freemasonry in Iran. Freemasonry was in Iran in 1969, but in 1979, when the Shah took over, Freemasonry in Iran went away, was outlawed. Having said that, that's not to say there might not be Freemasons in Iran, aid workers, things like that, um, who could be there visiting. Thank you for the gold coin, Ori. That's very kind. By the way, I mentioned this before, but every donation, every gift, every super chat we get, 50% of that is going to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So thank you for the support, including the stars, Ori. That's very kind of you. Outside of Masonic lodges, well, although it's technically there's what's called modes of recognition and things like that, but I appreciate it, Ori. Even your time is valuable. So the fact that you're willing to give me your time to watch, I'm truly appreciative. I am Kaba. Um, Going back to, there are modes of recognition. They could be wearing a shirt or a hat, but mostly you're not. We have potentially grips and tokens, but very often you don't know unless they're wearing a shirt or some symbol. And even then, you don't know, right? Because it's very possible that somebody could be wearing a Masonic shirt, a ring, and not actually be a Mason. They may have got the shirt or bought the shirt or had it given to them as a gift or passed down from family, which is why the most important thing that you do is if you think somebody's a Mason, you ask for a dues card. Um, hey, Yo Maple, I love coffee. So yes, I agree. No worries. Get yourself to sleep, Ori. Say your prayers and then get yourself to sleep. And thank you as always for being here. I'm going to be doing a bit of a marathon stream. Going to be around till tomorrow at 2 p.m. with breaks here and there as we go. But thank you for being here. I don't disagree, Skywalk. I don't think you can love God and hate the person next to you. Um, right? I don't think that's something that is possible. Google must, that's pretty funny. I will say that. That is amusing. Okay, so here's what we are going to do in 1 minute. I have not banked my own blood, no. There is not Masonic lodges specifically for military personnel and politicians, but there are several Masonic lodges on military bases, especially in the Middle East, um, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, if I recall correctly, all have Masonic military bases. Sorry, all have Masonic lodges on their military bases, which is something that I think is really, really cool. Okay, so here's what we've got happening, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I think it's just gentlemen. Good night, Ori. Thank you for being here. I'm going to show you guys a view that I really love. If you've been on my streams a lot, you know I've shown this before when I'm running to take a break. This is it here. This is the Detroit River, which I love very much. Now, I'm going to try to wave at you guys when I'm down there. You may be able to see me. We'll test that out. When I come back, I should be gone for maybe half an hour, if that, maybe less. We'll continue with the stream until 9, when I'm going to switch it over to... oh, there's a boat here to see. We switch it over to Smokey the Clown, my personal channel. Yo Maple, I'm trusting you to be an awesome mod for a few minutes when I come back. You can be pretty chill with it. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of kicking people off right away. Just hide anybody who's putting a bunch of nonsense messages. And I'll be back in a couple. Okay, we are back. Thank you, everybody who hung on, and thank you, Yo Maple, um, for being the moderator while I ran to get myself some coffee. I cannot do these 24-hour content marathons without the assistance from people like Yo Maple, from my moderators. Yo Maple, do you have my email address? Because if you send me your shipping information, I'll send you some coins as a thank you for being a moderator. I really do appreciate it. Um, and thank you all. Orthodoxy, what are your objections? And thank you all once again for being here. Please take a moment, as always, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? Yes, sorry, Orthodoxy is cool. Um, Sometimes we end up taking breaks. What can I say? You can't do it without. But for the time being, we're going to wait to see who joins. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you guys have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, let me know, and let's give it some time. Now, 9 a.m., sorry, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. So in about an hour, we are going to be switching it up, and we're going to be on my other channel, youtube.com/@Cameron Adamson, and we're going to be checking out and celebrating with my friend Smokey the Clown. I hope Orthodoxy is cool. You enjoyed my discussion on. No worries. Looks like nothing happened when you were gone, and thank you. I don't know, Yoma, but did you hear what I was saying? If you send me by email your information, I will send you some coins as a thank you. squareandcompass.ca/contact. That's how you do it. And for the time being, let's wait to see who joins. Yep, believe me, breaks are definitely a part of this. Also, being on other channels. Like in this case, we're going to be on youtube.com/@Cameron Adamson, starting at 9 p.m., probably for about, I don't know, an hour or two, and then switch back. Yo, Maple, I was meaning to ask you, what do you think of the most recent changes on YouTube? Not the increased necessity in watch hours to be monetized, but when it comes to the new rule about how views are counted, right? Where it's counted from the first frame, and now they have two symbols. They have views and engaged views. Oops, let me get rid of this. And actually, I'm going to put this for anybody. Orthodoxy, if you want to call up and complain about my taking a break, you can send an email that way. There you go, Yo Maple. I appreciate it. I appreciate putting in the work. So yeah, what are your thoughts in this case on the recent change regarding how views are counted? I'm curious what a lot of other Masons may be thinking about it as well, because it's going to be really interesting to see. You can send it to me by email, but the key thing, Orthodoxy, is I don't want you sending it to me with expectations. A, that I'll read it because I'm swamped. I'll try to read it, but I can't make any promises. But B, that I will convert, right? But if you want to send me some literature, by all means. Orthodoxy is cool. What do you think about the changes? I mean, I don't think you're a professional YouTuber, though it seems like you kind of want to be or are interested in being. But what are your thoughts kind of in general about the change, or have you heard about them? The biggest thing is the reason I'm going to be switching over to my other channel is because I really want to try to get to my 4,000 watch hours um, before before February 2nd, 7th, whenever the change is taking place. What are they? Yeah, so orthodoxy, the change is right now, if you click on my video, that's not a short, but an actual video, and then watch for less than 30 seconds, it's not counted as a view. It's basically not counted at all. So, 15, 20 people can watch a video, but if they each watch it for less than 30 seconds, it's not counted in the analytics. So when you look at the number of views, right, it's reduced. Now they're changing it and they're saying even if you watch for just 1 second, it's counted as a view, and they're going to have two different metrics. They're going to say number of views, which is from the first moment, and then engaged views, which is equal to watching for over 30 seconds. I don't really see the benefit of the change. I'm not really interested in people who watch my stuff for 1 second and then leave. That doesn't seem like a healthy metric. I want to know who sticks around for at least 30 seconds. That seems far more valuable to me. Um, yeah, I mean, they have the TikTok system orthodoxy for the shorts, but not for this. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I would be a little bit concerned about it, though. I'm not really sure the benefit. Same thing with, at first I was okay with the change in watch hours, but Yo Maple's, concerns did kind of assuage me a little bit. So, or did kind of concern me a little bit as well. Yes, but again, not a 24-hour stream without breaks. There'll be breaks here and there. At 9, so in about 45 minutes, I'm going to be switching over to my other channel, excuse me, youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson, hanging out with my friend Smokey the Clown, who's been on this channel before as well, who donated $2. But the rules still apply. Every super chat, every donation, every ad revenue during this 24-hour period from any of my channels or social media goes to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. While I'm away, while I'm on my other channel, a good thing you can do, if you're so, desiring, is head over to my Facebook, send me some stars, interact with the content because I am monetized on Facebook, or become a Patreon, even just at $2. Um, that helps out big times. Yeah, well, Yo Maple, it's definitely going to incentivize click farming or clickbaiting, right? Because all you need to do is get somebody to watch for 1 second, and then, like, you've got them. So, like, I could, for example, I could put up a YouTube video title and it could say, um, uh, all I will reveal all the secrets of the Freemasons, and then once you click on the video, I could say something like, I said I would reveal all the secrets of the Freemasons, but the truth is there are no secrets of the Freemasons, which is a jerky thing to do, but I got you for that 1 second, and now, you're kind of hooked. So I'm not a fan of that. And I'm seeing way too much clickbaity stuff on YouTube already. It does concern me quite a bit. Thank you for the thumbs up, Chronic Carlos, excuse me. Um, nope, that's not how it works. Orthodoxy is cool. Then don't become a patron. Um, there's no, in the same way, people jump on and say like, I'll give you $50 if you do X or Y. You become a patron if you like the content and if you like the goal and the mission, not under conditions. That would be like, uh, it just would not be right. And honestly, that would make me feel kind of cheap. Or like another word that starts with W. It is. And it kind of, I don't see how it's possibly more beneficial for sponsors, right? Like, if I go to a sponsor and say, look, I got like 5,000 views, but 99% of them watched for less than 2 seconds, yeah, they may help me out for a month, but then they're just going to go away once they realize my view count has been kind of inflated through this new rule. Um, I mean, I'm not opposed to dialoguing with people live. It depends who they are. Um, right? I wouldn't select them because you become a Patreon. I would select them if I think they would be a valuable discussion or have valuable insights. And that would be true whether you are a Patreon or not, right? That's a good idea, Yo Maple, and thank you for writing it down. I could look into that. I'd have to figure out how to do it. Probably not. Orthodoxy is cool because I don't believe in exorcisms. I don't believe in demons, right? And so a lot of it would just be me saying, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I mean, I would need to know a little bit more about. I don't believe in the supernatural, right? I would need to go into a little bit more details with them. I would talk to him off screen for sure. Like I would talk to him off, not online, but like in a Zoom call. And if I thought that him and I could find at least some basic common ground, and it wouldn't just be me not believing anything he says for an hour and a half, then sure. I would make an agreement to talk to him not online at the start and then go from there. Um, I mean, I don't think I'd ever be persuaded in the supernatural. I mean, anything's possible, orthodoxy. Only dumb people say something is either 0% or 100%, right? So I would never say there's zero chance I could be persuaded or there's 100% chance, I could be persuaded. Like, I would never say it in those terms. So certainly there's a chance I'm wrong. There's a chance I could be mistaken. Anything's possible. But I certainly wouldn't want to have him on YouTube live. I mean, I know exorcism is really popular as a topic right now. A lot of big time YouTubers have had exorcists on, but I would agree to talk to him on the Zoom call. And if I thought that we could find some common ground or it would be an interesting conversation, then I would bring him on. But I also worry I don't want to be encouraging people to believe people want to believe in that stuff, they can, but I don't want to be encouraging people to believe in the supernatural. I think we have far too much belief in the supernatural as it is. I want to focus on believing in the rational world around me. Um, Having said that, there are Masons who believe in exorcisms, I'm sure, right? I know there are Masons who are very spiritual. I've never asked them about their exorcism views in particular, but oh, did we get a new super chat while I was gone? I feel like 1017 is more than I thought we had, unless I just missed it. Somebody above asked me, um, you Maple. I will check that out. I mean, I agree. Creating stickers would be really good. Obviously, we have the gifts for Patreon members. We have the integrated YouTube comments as well. Like number one, the blue, whatever it is. So we need to work on getting some more stuff. I'll look into Canva. Yo Maple, that's a really good idea. And Yo Maple, don't forget to send me your. Um, okay, maybe there was one. I just forgot about it. The 1017. It might have been Stephanie. I think she did leave one, if I recall. So, I mean, orthodoxy, what I would say is becoming a Patreon member is not going to be the persuading factor. That's not how I will decide things, but I would appreciate you becoming a Patreon. What I would say is perhaps the best bet is to become a Patreon for free, at least at the start. Don't spend any money, just become a Patreon for free. That way you are supporting the channel, but you're not spending any of your money. And send me the Exorcist info. I'm not going to make any promises, but I will consider speaking with them. I mean, a lot of it would be me expressing my concerns about the idea of the supernatural and the dangers I think it can do to people. And also, why is it that so many exorcists I see on socials tend to be claiming stuff about the Freemasons? Um, we are going to just keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. And yes, as Dad points out, 50% of the money raised, that includes through all the different categories. And while I'm on my other channel, youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson, a cool, fun thing you guys can do is go to Facebook. Well, so then I definitely would not believe him, and I feel like it would just become him and I fighting back and forth. But like I said, I'll talk to him off camera. Um, that's the best I can promise. Yes, making sure you don't get scammed is important, and a lot of people use the supernatural to scam people, right? Not just direct scamming, where they'll say like, like some of these um, characters who show up at 5 a.m. and on my infomercials and tell me that if I send them money, they'll bless my house or something. But they'll use kind of spiritual language like let your faith be stronger than your fear and send me money and all that type of stuff. You need to be really careful. And a lot of people use Masonic scams as well, in that they will send a message to somebody and they'll say, I'm a Freemason, send me $500, I'll make you a Freemason. And then you end up with somebody sending in $500 to just some random, scammer, which is really bad because it makes Freemasonry look bad. Because now they think Freemasons are scamming them when it was just some random dude with an internet connection. Unfortunately, the internet has made it a lot easier to scam people. You guys should know I've done a lot of discussions on this. Orthodoxy is cool. What's this fellow's name that you want me to speak to? Yeah, I mean, they really do a lot of harm to people. And it's really unfortunate all the harm that they do and have done over the years. There's all sorts of stories of psychics really, really hurting people. So I do not like it much myself. I think, look, as a purely entertainment thing, it's not something I'm opposed to. Like, if you find tarot readings entertaining or whatever it is, then fine. But if you're trying to get advice on how to live your life from a tarot card reader, you need to read. Um, so Yo Maple Orthodoxy, Dad. I don't know how many. I know some of you guys Yo Maple Orthodoxy. I know you were off and on Orthodoxy for the first stream, but what did you think of it? What did you think of the streams with the Masonic Medical Research Institute? There were definitely some technical bugs, but I thought overall it went pretty well. I don't know what you thought of it, but I was fairly pleased with it. We raised some money for some good causes as well, so that's a good thing. Tarot cards have a lot of Masonic symbolism, Douglas, and I've talked about this before, but oh, I don't think, first of all, Orthodoxy, I'm sure he's not going to talk to me because that guy is doing podcasts that are getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. I think it's unfortunate that that is the case, but he's way above my level of views, but also not a fan of his for a variety of reasons. But yeah. So the one reason to talk to him would be he would bring my channel, you know, probably thousands of views, but I don't like this term. It's not a term I like to use or a verb I like to use, but I'm going to use it anyways. Um, I don't like to platform guys like him, so um, I don't know if it'd be worth it. But if you have his contact information, he was willing to talk to me. Like I said, offline is the best bet. Beyond that, if you want to become a Patreon because you like the content, become a Patreon because you like the content. Um, well, I mean, they're a different organization, Husafel. Now, I mean, they're both within the civic space. Um, they're both, civic groups, and they're both secular or non-religious groups. So in that sense, they're the same, but they're different organizations. Kind of like the Moose and the Elks and the Freemasons and the Knights of Columbus, etc., etc. Um, See, orthodoxy. I don't think he has an open door to help Masons. He has an open door to lie to Masons and claim that they have some type of generational curse, which I'm sure, is helps him get content, if not get money. But no, I mean the way to get him, for me, would have to be to lie to him, right? Which I wouldn't want to do, which would be me contacting him and saying, I'm a Mason and I need help, and then get him on my channel and just ambush him with, this is all the reasons that you're wrong, which is not something I'm interested in doing as well. But I'm not a Mason looking for help. I'm a Mason looking to demonstrate that he's wrong. Balaclava, ask your question. So long as it's not a mean question, ask away. And I'll do my best to answer it. So let's see what your question might be. Nope, I got a big nose. Yeah, I mean that's one of the tips. I mean, Yo Maple, I know you're on YouTube. By the way, if you get the chance, everybody, um, Yo Maple is on YouTube. He currently has 121 subs, so let's get those up. Let's see if we can get him a few more subs. Check out his content. He's working hard and he's doing a good job. Being a YouTube content creator is not easy. A lot of people think, you just sit on your butt. There's a lot more to it than that. So, um, we're not thanking Lucifer because Lucifer is not here. I am not Lucifer, and Lucifer has nothing to do with Freemasonry, despite what your friend and mine, Albert Pike, may say. So this is 6.5 hours in, so a quarter of the way through. And honestly, it hasn't been bad. It's been going by quicker than previous streams. Usually 12, once you get into that 13, 14, 15 hour mark, that's when it gets really tiring and then picks up again. You get like a second burst of energy around the morning. What does communism have to do with my t-shirt? Um, Censored, no, Freemasons are not satanic nor losers, at least as a general rule of thumb. Some of us might be losers. You can define that as you please. You can think of me as a loser if you want. I guess so be it. But Freemasons are just Freemasons. We're just out here trying to make the world a better place. Again, I don't know why my shirt is communist. Does it look like a Cuban shirt? Don't get me wrong. I'd really, really, in fairness, really like to visit, very much Cuba. Probably not right now while it's struggling, but I would be grateful to visit Cuba at some point in future. Um, there's a lot of cool masonry there. Um, I mean, Charlie, I don't know what you're talking about there, but I love pets. I love animals more than people, so I'm very sorry. Um, no, censored. There is no such thing as the top Freemasons except for Master Masons or Worshipful Masters or a Grand Master. The top Freemasons you're thinking of do not exist. Um, you've been looking at too much Albert Pike nonsense. And we're back to just hanging out. Once we're back from my youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson stream, I'm debating what to talk about. We may do some deep dives together into some of the ideas I've had for Masonic stories, or we may, talk about Muslim and Christian stonemasons working together. That could be fun, um, which I talked about before, or we'll just take questions as they come. Um, or do another review of the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Oh, the 33rd and above, once again censored. Why is the 33rd degree so important? I've never understood why we have this weird obsession with 33 degrees. I would love to levitate like Chris Angel. I'd love to have the amount of money Chris Angel has, but no. No one gets fast tracked to anything. If you want to get to anything, whether it be Grand Master or Worshipful Master or Master Mason or Entered Apprentice, you have to put in the same amount of work as anyone else, as it should be, right? We all want to be working together for the common good, not fast tracking people. But I don't think Elon Musk likes Freemasonry. I remember I saw a few quotes of him which seemed to imply he was not a fan. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's interesting that he's less popular now than he used to be. But I think everybody goes up and down. I feel like I created a supervillain at this point. Orthodoxy is cool. Keep in mind what you think of as his truth is probably I would not agree is truth. But I mean, I'm not discouraging you. I think everybody should be able to start their own YouTube channel if they so choose. I'm lucky enough that I get to. Well, my tip would be don't evangelize to Freemasons. I'm not a big believer in evangelizing as a general rule, right? But I'm not religious. In my opinion, I'm comfortable with everybody having their own religious beliefs. It's not my place to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't believe. You're also going to run into the fact that a lot of Freemasons are already Christian. So I don't know really what you'd be evangelizing them to do. They're already of the same faith as you. Maybe they're not Orthodox Christians. Some are, especially in Greece, right? But many of them are not. So I don't know. I guess what I'd say is I feel like it would not be the best use of time, but you should also do what you believe is right. And if you believe you should start your own channel, then you should start your own channel. That's a very specific question, Apollonius 153IAO. Well, I mean, circumambulation, going around the lodge, I'm going to call it that, is really not any harder being in a wheelchair than not. Now, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, right? There are times as part of a Masonic ceremony where you have to put your feet or possibly put your feet in different positions, possibly kneel, possibly stand in a certain way, whatever it might be. When I was joining, in those instances, we had another brother do that for me. He would take whatever motions or positions were necessary for the ceremony, and I would not have to because I couldn't. So that's a cool little thing. That's one of the first and earliest examples in my Masonic career of of seeing one brother being there for another in a Masonic context. So it's kind of interesting. You start out immediately with this idea of brotherly love. Now, even for the first degree, again, I'm not going to go into specifics, but if you're a Freemason, you will know that because of some of the nature of the degree, I had to be wheeled around the lodge by another brother, again, showing the brotherly love. So, the Waits experience, thank you. Welcome back as well. It's nice to be back home. I don't know if anybody saw me when I was out there in the world waving to you guys, but now here I am. So thank you for being here. Once again, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and do not forget that 50% of all of the revenue from these streams will be going to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So I would, as always, appreciate any support. And I hope you guys enjoyed the MMRI questions. We're going to be, like I said, at 9 p.m., so another 25 minutes. We're going to be switching over youtube.com/@CameronAdamson, and we are going to be hanging out with my friend Smokey the Clown. which should be great as well. On my personal channel, which I'm trying to grow that channel because of all these YouTube changes. I got to try to grow it as quick as I can and as fast as I can. So, not as many secrets as you think, the weights. Daddy needs a caddy? Daddy and a caddy? The FBI needs my hard drive. Well, I'm Canadian, so I don't think the FBI has the ability to take my hard drive. Having said that, I suppose if they are so desirous of it, they can contact the authorities here and figure it out.
At Daddy Ina Caddy 2 United States dollars, the FBI needs your hard drive ASAP.
But I still appreciate the $2, as does the Masonic Medical Research Institute for that matter. And you are definitely new, so please hit like and subscribe. There is no Canadian FBI. There is a Canadian CSIS, if I recall correctly. Like CSIS is the term, but no, I've talked a lot about this. It's incredibly important that we as Freemasons remember the value of, the value of accessibility and creating an RCMP. Yes, that's the term. Creating an accessible, you should know that, Yo Maple, with the term Yo Maple, creating an accessible environment for our membership. And that is from the very start when we first have, like that, it should be accessible from the moment a brother leaves his house to the moment he returns to his house. And every step in between should be accessible. And that should be for whether you are in a wheelchair, are blind, are deaf, are mobility impaired, have trouble walking, whatever it might be. We need to make sure we work with brothers and find a way to make them accessible. Make the buildings accessible, make the experience accessible. I've talked a lot about that on my channel in the past. I think it's very important that we do so, especially, I've also written about it, and I really appreciate both talking about it, writing about it, whatever it might be. I think it's very important that we do so. Yes, the RCMP. Still, Daddy and a caddy, it's appreciated. I mean, Orthodoxy, this is one of my issues with you. It's not that I don't mind you being here, and not just with you. You make a lot of assumptions. You need to be really careful about kind of what you believe to be happening and what you think is happening. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by you've planted a seed, but I'm not sure you've done what you think you've done. In my experience, like I said, as I've said many times, I'm a believer. Everyone has the right to their religious beliefs. I don't want to be a slanderer, a reviler of anyone's religious beliefs. But if you're thinking that you have said things to me that haven't been told before about religion or about Freemasonry or, evangelizing, not the case in this scenario. Right? I think at the end of the day, everybody has to decide for themselves what they want to be and what they want to believe and what makes sense in their heart. But obviously, as you mentioned before, if you want to start your own YouTube channel, more power to you. Keep in mind, if you're trying to evangelize to Masons, there's not that many Masons on YouTube. My typical stats seems to run about 75 non-Mason, 25 Masonic. And my channel is all about Freemasonry. So audience-wise, you might find some challenges getting a good audience. Because not only are you looking for Masons, but you're looking for Masons who want to be evangelized to. So the numbers get kind of smaller and smaller as you go. We're just going to keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. I can tell you, if I was a Mason and I saw somebody on the street with a sign that said, I want to talk to Masons and I'll film you, I would probably not do it, especially not if it's somebody who's young. I think you're what, like 16? But you can try it. And I wish you all the best of success, but I don't know how well it's going to go for you. What is one thing that you think the Waits experience that Freemasons have to explain? The Luciferian actions? Best of luck, Orthodoxy. So Freemasonry is not Luciferian. We have no Luciferian actions. Yes, um, the the wonderful Albert Pike had his own views on it, but Freemasonry is not Luciferian. Um, Simply chaotic? Well, you've been here before, so welcome back. I mean, what I would say is the most important thing is, you're respectful to everybody, you're kind to everybody, but I would not be interested in proselytizing either. That doesn't mean you aren't respectful to people. From Philly and Simply Chaotic, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, consider a super chat, support the Masonic Medical Research Institute, and thank you for being here. We're getting closer and closer to 4,600 subs, so let's help a brother out. Freemasonry is not a cult of anything, nor a cult of anyone. Freemasonry is not a cult. Freemasonry is a club or a group, equivalent to Elks, Moose, Rotary, etc., etc. I don't even know what that means, cult of the creator. To be a Freemasonist, believe in a supreme being. Some may define that as a creator, I suppose. No, elks and moose are not wannabes. Elk and moose are just different organizations. Whether you are the elks, the moose, like I don't like the ten, and even some Freemasons do this, which I don't like, which is they'll be like, we're the best group and the elks and the moose aren't. Everybody, I don't, if you can find something that makes you happy, elks, moose, and you're not hurting anybody or yourself, more power to you. The time when Freemasonry was at the strongest or at the greatest growth was also the time when, it was also the time when the Elks was at its most, and the Knights of Columbus were at its most membership, right? Membership, right? It's not one versus the other. It's all of us needing to be together and work together. Sorry, Simply Chaotic, I cannot do that. You're on your own. What I would say though is if you are struggling, I hope there's some resources in your area. And there are many ways you can support me completely for free and does not cost anything. And even that helps out a great deal. Just you being here and just you super chatting, it helps out a lot. So I'm grateful for that. Becoming a Patreon for free, following me on Facebook for free. All of these things help me a lot more than people realized. Following me on Instagram, Medium, all that stuff helps me a great deal. Hello, BHN. Please like and subscribe. So moto be indeed. Masonic phrase, Masonic expression. So, the Tiny Homestead, the Masonic Medical Research Institute is working on both cures and treatments within three main research areas: cardiovascular disease, cognitive or neurocognitive diseases, and autoimmune diseases. So like heart disease, autoimmune like lupus, and neurocognitive like PTSD, autism, in those areas. Bread man, I'll take it. I look like Bart Simpson. Have you hit the like and subscribe button yet? That's the better question. I believe they are also doing some research on diabetes, so I'm not positive. Um, to the extent I think a lot of these things, interact with one another, right? In a lot of cases, it's possible to be researching one area and end up discovering information about another area. But their three research areas are autoimmune disease, um, neurocognitive, and heart disease. No, Freemasons are not satanic and we don't worship the one eye. Freemasonry is not a religion. So we're not really set up to worship anything. That's not what Freemasonry is about. Af, I do not work for MI6. Do you hit the like and subscribe button? That's the better question. Twisty, you can go to a lodge and express your interest in joining. You don't need to know anybody or be invited by anybody to start the process. So there you go. But I appreciate you thinking it looked like MI6. So 100 votes. Interestingly enough, 15 people have said yes, that they have visited the Masonic Medical Research Institute, which is really cool. I'd love to know what your experiences were like visiting and what you thought of it. I will tell them, Tiny, but I'm not a scientist, so believe me, I'm sure they are doing whatever is the best research as is necessary, for the most good. Tyler, I don't want to troll anybody. Why would I try to troll anybody? We're all on this channel together, working hard, trying, or we're all in this together, every YouTuber, trying our best to, make things work and make a living on this. So, no, I don't think I will go trolling anybody. Yes, Yo Maple is exactly correct. I mean, I don't know if the Masonic Medical Research Institute will accept your body for medical research. I don't know what the process is, but I know you can donate your body for medical research. I mean, within my will, I have it clearly stated that after I pass away, my body is to be donated. So, first of all, if my organs can be used, they are to use my organs, as necessary. But also, if they can't use my organs for anything, or after they've taken out any organs that are necessary, then they can use my body for medical research and medical science. Um, Maybe I should have said send it to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. I'd be much obliged. Who knows? But yeah, that's a really cool point as well. And we will, as always, take a moment. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. And don't forget, in about 10 minutes, to head on over to youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson. Um, and, um, find me there with my friend Smokey. What if the Freemasons betrayed me? I would be annoyed. I don't know what it means by betraying me. I mean, I'm not done anything that you could betray me and, send me to jail for. I'm not doing anything like that. If they were to just be, ask me for money or ask to borrow money and not pay me back, I'd be annoyed by them, but I don't know. I wouldn't be that upset. Freemasons are human beings, which means we're possible, we have within us the possibility to do all of the good and all of the bad that any other human being can do, including betrayed. I didn't join Freemasonry thinking they would be perfect. Um, I do try to hold them to a higher standard, but Mike, what I am is handsome. Please hit like and subscribe. Yes, Freemasons are human beings, in fact, despite what some of the conspiracy theories say about us. We are, in fact, humans. I know that may seem shocking to some people, but um, no, they couldn't. I will tell you this about me. I am a pain in the ass. I am annoying and I am stubborn and I am tenacious. And if I felt that there were secrets that were being hidden from me that I needed to know, I would go to find them. Um, we do get a lot of those, Yo Maple. It just kind of is what it is. You kind of just get used to it. No, we do not totally. And you know we do not. But please hit like and subscribe nonetheless. We are getting closer and closer to 5,000 subs. We're at 4,594. So getting closer to 4,600. I'm also hoping on my other channel, youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson, where I'll be very soon, I can get to 500 subs. I'm currently at 471. So I'm not familiar with that situation in Italy. I'm familiar with the situation in France, but not in Italy. Um, so I cannot really help you with that one. Why? What's going on there? Keep in mind, we'll be ending this stream shortly while I prepare for my next one. So, um, welcome, Smokey. We'll be ending this stream soon. Don't forget, Smokey, because we got to go to my other channel and co-stream, youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson. But I will, so I'll be ending this stream shortly to head over there, but thank you for being back here. And then you can join. You should have the link. The Bible and Bermuda. So when when a Masonic member dies, there is no, I mean, there might be, but I've never heard of a quote unquote Masonic funeral home. In my experience, if you die as a Mason, your family and estate has to pay the cost of the funeral, no different than anybody else. But we do have within Freemasonry Masonic funeral services, which we will provide free of charge, where, we will hold a service, which is both a way to say goodbye to our departed brother and to say thank you to his family and his friends who allowed him to spend some of his limited time with us here on Earth before he goes on to whatever's next. I do know there are some Masons who have in the past paid for the expenses related to a brother's funeral if the family could not afford it. That has happened in the past through benevolence. Yes, the 357 program for all the Masons out there. Check that out. Absolutely. It's a great program supporting a great cause. Thank you, Yo Maple, for doing that as well. I truly appreciate it. Hi, so what's my content, bro? My content, Hassan, is talking about Freemasonry and the promoting the ways it was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, as well as sharing stories of Masonic interest and turning my passion for Freemasonry into professions or into the professions. Sorry, turning passion for Freemasonry into profession through content creation. I mean, that goes back and forth. No one really knows because there is all sorts of quotes of Napoleon talking shit about Freemasons, but then there's all sorts of quotes like Napoleon's brother was a Freemason, if I recall correctly, and actually Napoleon appointed him to the head of the Masonic orders. So, I mean, no, there was Freemasonry spreading around Europe well before Napoleon. Right? Like he was born 1769, he died 1821. I mean, by the 1800s, Freemasonry was already well spreading through Europe. as it was. So, um, oh, I've heard about that spirit. I heard about not about the name, I didn't recognize the name, but the denial of Masonic funeral services. That I did hear about. Um, yes, I did hear about that. So, I also think Grand Orient might not be recognized by regular Freemasons. Sorry, Hassan, Freemasonry, whether you think Freemasonry is a weird organization or not, I guess everybody can decide that for themselves. But we're not satanic and we're not controlling the world, nor do we want to control the world. So there you go. You're wrong on all of those accounts. And yes, thank you. Hello, ID1 Kenobi. Who are the Wild Stallions? Um, and thank you for being here as always. Okay, I think what we're going to do, because I got about 2 minutes to go, I don't know if you're still there, Smokey, is end this stream. Go to, once you get the chance, youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson, CameronAdamson. And I'm going to be starting a stream there in a couple. There'd be less opportunities for super chats on that channel. So instead, what you can do is become a Patreon or support my Facebook posts, all of which does help provide revenue to me. But I need to try to grow my personal channel as well to see if I can get that up to the number of watch hours before we end up back on, before we end up, um, before the watch hours change. So I'm pro Mason, Hassan. Um, your parents, I'm sure they were good people, but your parents were incorrect about Freemasonry. All right, guys, we'll be back on very soon. Just give me a couple moments. Before you go, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'll see you all soon. Yes, I need that. That's for sure. All right, guys, talk to you soon. And Hassan, I'll probably be back on this channel. My assumption is right now around midnight, thereabouts, to keep going with this content marathon, again, across this variety of channels. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you all soon.